Don't you want to put it on, Mother?
Huh?
It's yours. There. That's nice. Would you like me to read to you?
No. No, thank you.
Perhaps you'd like to take a walk in the gardens. You haven't seen them yet. They're lovely.
No. I have too much mending to do.
Sit down, won't you?
Thank you.
Well, have you seen your mother this morning?
Yes, I just left her. I'm terribly worried, Doctor. She doesn't seem to be getting any better. Is there nothing more we can do for her?
We're doing everything we can, Mrs. Craig. You see, some people find circumstances too difficult to deal with, and they take various means of escape. One is to withdraw into a sort of inner world where nothing can hurt them. That's what's happened to your mother. Before we can bring her out of it, we must learn what has caused it. And that will take a great deal of time and patience.
You know about my father, don't you?
I only know what your mother has told me.
It's his fault. That's where it all started, isn't it?
I'm afraid it's not quite as simple as that. Cases like your mother's are rarely the result of any single cause. No, I don't blame your father entirely.
Well, I do. I was only 14 when he left us. We could have starved to death for all he cared. You have no idea what my mother went through, what we both went through. I'm sorry.
How long have you been married, Mrs. Craig?
Almost 4 years.
You're happily married, aren't you?
Yes, of course.
Do you have children?
No.
I hope you don't have any fears because of your mother. There's nothing hereditary in her illness.
No, it isn't that. Mr. Craig doesn't want any. He doesn't like children.
I see. I didn't mean to pry into your personal affairs, Mrs. Craig. I was only trying to point out that you have your own life to live, and apparently it's quite different from your mother's.
Yes, it is. Good day, Doctor.
Good day.
Harriet, you're lying. You lied to Claire. You lied about Mrs. Harold. You lied when you phoned me today to find out if the coast was clear.
You've been drinking, and I refuse to talk to you while you're in this condition.
Why not? You put up with a lot worse than that since you've been married to me. Isn't that what you told Fenwick?
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, you're a brave little woman to live with a husband like me. Old boozer Craig who can't hold his liquor. Light-fingered Craig who can't be trusted near the cash box. Stinker Craig who'll gamble away a widow's savings.
I didn't say anything of the kind, and I don't believe Mr. Fenwick told you that.
Mrs. Fenwick told me.
I wouldn't put it past her. She'd distort everything deliberately.
How could you do it, Harriet? Were you out of your mind? To go to my employer, of all people. A man whose good opinion can affect my whole life. And your life.
Walter, you haven't given me one chance to explain. I did go to see Mr. Fenwick, but only to make sure you'd have decent food, a decent place to live, and not be overworked. My thanks for that is that you take other people's word against mine and turn on me like this.
Not a tear in sight. How many ways can you lie, Harriet? You lie when you cry, you lie when you smile, you lie when you talk. Do you also lie when...
Stop it! All right, you want the truth, you can have it. Walter, I know you're upset because I went to Mr. Fenwick, and I can't blame you. What I did was wrong, terribly wrong. But I was so panicky, I had to stop you somehow. I realize now I should have told you the truth. I should have come to you the day Dr. Barnes sent for me.
Dr. Barnes?
Yes. For months now, I've been going to him. You know how desperately I've always wanted a child. I've never given up hope. Well, 2 weeks ago, he said there was a very good chance.
What's Dr. Barnes' number?
Well, he wouldn't be in his office this time of night.
He must have a home phone.
I wouldn't know it. I've never called him there.
I imagine information will give it to me.
Don't you dare check up on me.
You didn't see any doctor, did you? Nobody told you you could have a child.
Nobody had to tell me.
You mean you can?
Yes, I can.
And you could have all along? So you lied to me from the beginning. About something you knew meant more to me than anything in this world. Oh, Harriet. I came back tonight to tell you that from now on I was going to run things in this house. And if you were willing to accept that, we might make a go of our marriage. Because in spite of everything, I still loved you. But this does it. I know now you've never loved me. Tonight you show me just how selfish and dishonest you really are.
No woman dares to be honest. She has to think of herself. Who else is going to protect her?
Does she need protection from a man who loves her?
You bet she does. I wouldn't trust the love of any man after the things I've seen. I found out all about what you men call love the day my father left us. He always pretended to love my mother, and I worshipped him. And one day after school, I went to his office. I found him with a woman, a cheap, vulgar blonde. What a sight they were. And I saw him for what he really was, a fat old fool with liquor on his breath. He said he was ashamed and tried to tell me it had nothing to do with his love for us. Well, maybe he could fool my mother, but he couldn't fool me. I told him I never wanted to see him again. I hated him, and I'd always hate him. That night, he didn't come home. He never came home. I watched my mother tramp the streets looking for a job. And at 14, I had to quit school and go to work. First in a factory, then in a laundry. We almost starved. So don't talk to me about protection. Don't try to tell me anything about love.
I think you're telling me the truth for the first time. I believe what you say about your father, and I feel sorry for you. I think I understand you now. You hated your father, and because of him, you hate me. You hate and distrust everybody. You're at war with the whole world. You'd never feel safe with anybody until you'd crushed them. But you're not going to do that to me. I'm going to take that trip as scheduled. But when I come back, it won't be to this house.
But you can't just walk out on me. I'm your wife. You have a responsibility.
Don't worry, I'll see that you're provided for. And you can keep the house.
You'll come back. You'll find out you won't be able to forget me so easily.
I didn't say I could forget you. But I won't be back.